A pleasant day, everyone. This is Christine Estiraza, and today I'll discuss on memory storages. What is memory? Memory is the process of maintaining information over time. It also means by which we draw on our past experiences in order to use this information in the present. It also refers to the process that are used to acquire, store, retain, and later retrieve information. Memory is involved in processing vast amounts of informations. This information takes many different forms such as images, sounds, or meaning. Psychologists distinguish between three necessary stages in the learning and memory processes, and these are first, encoding. The encoding defined as the initial learning of information. Then, the storage, which refers to maintaining information over time or the retention. And the retrieval. The retrieval is the ability to access information when you needed it, or it simply means recalling or recognition. Example, if you meet someone for the first time at a party, you need to encode her name while you associate her name with her face. Then you need to maintain the information over time. If you see her a week later, you need to recognize her face and have it serve as a cue to retrieve her name. Any successful act of remembering requires that all three stages be intact. There are three components of memory, which are the sensory memory, the working or the short-term memory, and the long-term memory. Let us discuss first what is sensory memory. It is the earliest stage of memory. During this stage, sensory information from the environment is stored for a brief period of time. Generally, for no longer than half second for visual information and 3 to 4 seconds for auditory information. There are types of sensory memory. First is the iconic memory, which is also known as the visual sensory memory. It involves a very brief image. This of sensory memory typically lasts for about 1/4 to 1/2 of the second. Another type of sensory memory is the echoic memory, which is also known as auditory sensory memory. It involves a very brief memory of sound, a bit like an echo. This type of sensory memory can last for up to 3 to 4 seconds. Then the haptic memory, which is also known as the tactile memory. Haptic involves the very brief memory of touch. This type of sensory memory lasts for approximately 2 seconds. How long do sensory memories last? During every moment of your existence, your senses are constantly taking in enormous amount of information about what you see, feel, smell, hear, and taste. While this information is very important, there is simply no way to remember each and every detail about what you experience at every moment. Instead, your sensory memory creates something of quick snapshot of the world around you, allowing you to briefly focus your attention on relevant details. Next, the short-term memory. It is also known as the active memory. It which is the information we are currently aware of or thinking about. In Freudian psychology, this memory would be referred to as the conscious mind. Paying attention to sensory memories generates information in short-term memory. Short-term memory is very brief. When short-term memories are not rehearsed or actively maintained, they last mere seconds. It is also limited. It is commonly suggested that short-term memory can hold only 7 items at once, plus or minus 2. Then, we have also the long-term memory, which refers to the continuing storage of information. In Freudian psychology, long-term memory would be called the preconscious and unconscious. This information is largely outside of our awareness, but can be called into working memory to be used when needed. Some of this information is fairly easy to recall, while other memories are much more difficult to access. Okay, there are two types of long-term memory. First is the explicit memories. Explicit memories are also known as declarative memories, which include all of the memories that are available in consciousness. Explicit memory can be further divided into episodic memory or the specific events and the semantic memory, which is the knowledge about the world. Okay, episodic memory these are your long-term memories of specific events, such as what you did yesterday or your high school graduation. While the semantic memory, these are memories of facts, concepts, names, and other general knowledge. Okay. Other examples of things that are remembered through explicit memory include the birth dates of friends and family members, the important events from your life such as your school graduation, wedding, or another notable milestone. All of the items on your shopping list is also the example of explicit memory. Okay. Explicit memories are those that are consciously recalled. This includes memories of events from your life as well as the memory of facts and other learned information. While the implicit memories are those that are mostly unconscious. This type of memory includes procedural memory, which involves memories of body movement and how to use objects in the environment. How to drive a car or use a computer are example of procedural memory. Implicit memories are unconscious and automatic. This includes memories of how to perform tasks that you do every day, rather than consciously recalling how to ride a bike. You are able to perform the task without really thinking about it. Some example of implicit memory include singing a familiar song, typing on your computer keyboard, and brushing your teeth. Okay. How long-term memory lasts? Okay, duration of long-term memory. Through the process of association and rehearsal, the content of short-term memory can become long-term memory. Long-term memories can last for a matter of days to as long as many decades. Okay, these are the long-term memory system. As you can see, okay, long-term memory has two different types, which are the explicit or declarative memory and the implicit or non-declarative memory. Okay, sa explicit or declarative memory, merong two types, which is the semantic and episodic memory. While sa implicit memory, meron ding two types, which are the procedural and the emotional memories. Okay, let's go to the implication. Okay, implication to teaching rather. Okay, present content through a variety of teaching strategies such as physical activities, individual learning times, group interaction, artistic variation, and musical interpretation to help orchestrate students' experience. Be aware that children mature at different rates. Chronological age may not reflect the student's readiness to learn. Strive to present lessons and activities that arouse the mind search for meaning. It also presents information in context or real-life science, thematic instruction, so the learner can identify patterns and connect with previous experiences. It also helps build a classroom environment that promotes positive attitudes among students and teachers and about their work. It also tries to avoid isolating information from its context. This isolation makes learning more difficult. It also uses techniques that create or mimic real-world experiences and use varied senses. Examples include demonstration, projects, metaphor, and integration of content areas that embed ideas in genuine experience. It also uses multifaceted teaching strategies to attract individual interest and let students express their auditory, visual, tactile, or emotional preferences. It also makes of effective learning strategies just about any type of thinking you can do with information is better than read, reread, and repeat. Attention is vital for learning. It minimizes distractions in the classroom and while studying. Remember that your working memory is limited. Multitasking while learning is not effective. Dealing with emotional and social stress can also interfere with working memory capacity if not managed. It also spread out your work as much as possible. Avoid cramming. It might get your grade that you want, but you will never do as well as you could do with repeated exposure to the material. Okay. If we are teaching brains, we should be using strategies that align with the ways that people consume and retain information. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.